Fallout New Vegas at its heart is a story of revenge and rebirth. From the fire of the first gunshot, your mission is true. You have to kill that son of a gun, Benny, and anyone else who gets in your way, all the while long discovering that it's you who holds the key of the lives in the Mojave. Throughout the Mojave, the courier is equipped with vast amounts of weapons to reshape the world as they see fit. But there is no stronger power and resolve than the words we speak and the mercy we give. What if we weren't out for revenge, but seeking the indirect change of thousands of lives by the words we utter? We are but a courier with a silver tongue, and the charisma and the gall to back it up. The Mojave will burn, but not by our hand. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas without killing anyone? Now let's set a quick game plan. Conversations are my weapons. If I kill anyone, I reload my save and try again. Repeat, if I directly kill someone, I reset. There will be no followers this run because of the accidental chance that they can kill an NPC or a creature. Now, convincing people to kill someone else isn't me directly killing them. So long as the counter doesn't go up, I don't kill them. If an NPC gets indirectly killed, be it by a creature or other warring faction, that is considered an act of God and will be treated as so. We will keep track of the counter. If kills go up, I will reset. We are not a fighter, but a silver-tongued shadow. But my silver tongue was not enough to keep Benny from blowing my brains out. I awoke in a strange place, with a face not my own. This was a cruel joke of an existence, and thus, Rip Van Speakle, the brother of Rip Van Winkle, was born. Yep, that's the face that not even a mother could love. For perks and skills, this was going to be clear, cut, and dry, unlike the last video. For special, I went with this, and honestly, I think this is a pretty good spread. For my starting perks, I went with barter, speech, and sneak, because who doesn't a little bit of price gouge, deceive, and disappear? I also took good-natured, as it would have no ill effects, and of course, wild wasteland. With that, I entered the wasteland, a little fearful, but honestly excited for this challenge. This was a new one, and yeah, honestly, this seems like it could be easy, but only after a certain point. If y'all would want me to try this again later with different rules, I'm so down to do this. My first stop was Sunny Smiles. I could shoot the bottle because, just like the two people sitting on my bed who stare at me while I sleep, they're not real. But I realized something was wrong with my camera. I'm 5'10". I'm not this short. So I tried to fix it. Luckily, the tweaks mod I have helps me fix it when my camera bugs into the ground. I found Sunny, shot the bottles, and then went to Chet, not only to sell my useless weapons, but to see if he had a shovel. Because I got a lot, and I mean a lot of comments, and I swore that there was no shovel in. I then spoke with Trudy and started the Ghost Town gunfight. This was the first test. Let's see if these count towards me killing people. Also, it wouldn't be a New Vegas video without a moment of silence for Paul of Mitten Squad. I sweet-talked Trudy, coerced Chet, and called on Doc Mitchell's good character. And when everything was done, we began. And by we, I met everyone else. I hid. Look, I talk people into fighting. I just reap the benefits. Being an observer is fun. This has to be how God feels, watching his creations ruin everything. When the quest finished, I checked the tracker, and I was cleared. I didn't kill anyone. I decided, here and now, I'd see how far I could get in the game by playing it a way I never had before. We're going straight to Vegas. I would follow my trail from the last playthrough, where I tried to beat Fallout New Vegas with unique weapons only. I went through Sloan, then through Black Mountain. If I've done it once, I can do it again. I made it to Sloan and I pressed forward, and then did some Deathclaw watching. Peaceful creatures from afar, but don't let them get close, or you'll meet God, and he'll get to laugh at you. Before I knew it, I was at RevCon headquarters, and New Vegas was in my sights. I stopped momentarily at the Grub and Gulp, and continued on, eventually reaching the gate. I entered the gate and got to work, first working for the Garretts. I talked Garrett into giving me double the caps for each new piece of ass, and immediately went to Beatrix and got her to join up. I was then off to Mick and Ralph's to get the tape made for Fisto and went into Cerulean Robotics. I honestly didn't have a hard time dodging rats, as you know, they're rats. They're not very bright. Kinda like a 6-year-old ace who busted his chin on a skateboard. That's a real story. I stuck right by them, activated the Protectron, and Fisto was born. He, however, didn't like rats. As I stepped outside, the old ladies appeared. Instead of cookies, Grandma took after Grandpa and whipped out the belt, so I took off running. I then returned to Garrett and got the pay for both Fisto and Beatrix and leveled up, getting the last member, Old Ben, completing this quest. My main point in this run was finishing as fast as possible. It's less time to accidentally kill someone later on. Less time to accidentally kill someone, the better. So I decided to do some easy quests that involved no killing, which, side note, is actually a lot. I traveled to Boulder City to help our good pal Jessup get out of his mess. Jessup wasn't happy to see me, but I promised him I could get him out of this mess. With his life in my hands, I returned to the lieutenant and talked him into a release, despite orders from higher up. Who says you can't solve problems with words? I was then off to Prim to work on getting them a sheriff, and I wouldn't have to step in and kill the convicts this time. I could sneak or run past them. Running worked out the best. I spoke with Johnson Nash and learned that Prim was in dire need of law. He told me to go find Deputy Beagle. I died again, ran my little self past all the powder gangers, all the while being riddled with bullets, and made it to Beagle. I then set him free and told him to fight with me. Beagle died shortly after, and I was left to find Prim, a new sheriff. So I got my ass moving in the other direction. This was the first time I've ever snuck to the outpost. At the outpost, I spoke with Major Knight about getting from a sheriff. Being the smooth-talking son of a bitch I am, I convinced him to annex Prim and got them the law they needed. From there, I was back in Freeside to give aid to the king. Oris had been cheating the business of protection, and I saw firsthand that he was bluffing, so I robbed him back. The king was appreciative that I got results, and Oris was pulled off the streets to God knows where. I was then off to Old Mormon Fort next to figure out what was going on with the men who were attacked. When I got there, I saw a child pull a knife and then disappear. Roy and Wayne were able to piece together that it was an NCR soldier that attacked them, and I returned to the king, who was less than pleased. However, being his envoy, I was level-headed and knew that this could be resolved without violence. I returned to speak. Oh, what the f? I'm missing conjunctions. What's wrong with me? I returned to speak with Julie Barkus, and she told me how the NCR was handing out food. She told me to speak with Elizabeth. However, the old ladies still wished me dead. I moved them out of the way by running towards one of the Freeside gates and went on to speak with Elizabeth. She opened up to me when I told her about Julie. The envoy she sent was badly beaten. Pacer had orchestrated the event. As I told the king the news, Pacer started a shootout. As his envoy, I was sent to end the hostility between the NCR and the Kings. Luckily, I was able to undo Pacer's wrongs and diffused the situation. King offered a favor, and I decided to hold off for now. I leveled up twice and put them both into science. With my science at 80, I bypassed the coding of the Securitron gatekeeper and gained access to the strip. But I needed a few more points in speech before I was ready to see my old friend. So I wandered a bit, trying to find an NCR uniform so I could use the train to go to McCarran. I finally just walked there and started, I don't hurt anymore. I'm gonna be honest, I looked an awful long time for Gorbets, like a painstakingly long time. I don't know where the hell he is, or was. So I waited till the morning, and dude, I cannot find him. After 30 minutes, I quit. This quest isn't worth it. The XP you get is not worth the level up. So I walked towards the mountains, to the abandoned ski lodge I'd heard about on the radio. I ran into some cazadors and took refuge inside Brewer's bootlegging. I was in deep shit now. Eventually, I managed to shake off the cazadors and could heal my wounds. With some luck and planning, I was able to sneak past the rest of the cazadors along the rest of the route. I finally started up the mountain, dodging mantises and other wildlife, and arrived at Jacobstown. I met with Marcus and quickly learned something was wrong with the Nightkin. I decided to set to help out in any way I could. I met with Dr. Henry and decided to help him with his research. Entering the Charleston cave, I snuck past the Night Stalkers, and that quickly didn't work out. So I died. In my second attempt, I didn't try to sneak. I just ran past. I grabbed the chewed up stealth boy and booked it out of the cave. I then made it safely outside and returned to Henry. With no other options, we decided to run the Mark II test on Lily. I watched Henry become a schizo until Lily showed back up. Keen then ran in, and I couldn't pass the speech check. So I went and paid off the mercenaries in hope of leveling up. And I can tell you right now, I did not. So I went back to the drawing board for a few minutes. And by a few minutes, I meant a few hours. I took a few days off. And then it hit me. The boomers! I ran through hell and laughed at the poor gate guard. I then met with Mother Pearl and began to get some work done for the boomers. I listened to Bingle Wingle, helped Argyle perform fucking miracles, helped Jack hook up and get busy, and finally leveled up. I took Here and Now, and I was able to level up again, giving me everything I needed to go back to Jacobstown. Keen was able to see my reasoning and allow for the Nightkin to further receive help, and I finally completed this quest. I then found myself traveling to Helios 1, not to complete this quest, but to salvage the arrays for Nellis. I got both passwords from Sparkles and Dunce in case I needed to do this later, and salvaged all the arrays. I then became idolized by the boomers, and it was time to raise the bomber. I talked with Loyal, set off from Boulder City, and swam out to the lake, placed the ballast, and the bomber floated right up. I could call now on the boomers during the final battle. However, for now, it was time to go and see an old friend. Benny had the look of fear in his eyes, but for once, I wasn't here to kill him. He and I headed up to the presidential suite together. I then learned what I needed. The platinum chip was able to turn the tides of this upcoming war in Vegas's favor. I accepted Benny's deal. He'd do the dirty work, and I'd do the talking. A win for both of us. But I got cheated, and cheated hard. I was ambushed and made it to the casino floor, barely breathing. Faith told me to check Benny's suite, and inside, I found exactly what I was looking for. A partner, someone who'd say yes to anything I needed. Yes Man. Yes Man explained that the chip was an upgrade module for the Securitrons and that Benny would be heading to Fortification Hill. And fuck, it's May now, god damn it. And also, there's 2,000 of you now. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, guys. I really appreciate that. I had to do two things, get the platinum chip and kill Mr. House. But I can't kill anyone. So I went with going to get the platinum chip first. I received the Mark of Caesar salad from the wasteland asshole and set out to Fortification Hill. This was gonna be a long walk, especially since, you know, I don't kill people. After baby's first 50 miles, I arrived in Cottonwood Cove, caught the ferry, and met face to face with the guy from Baldi's Basics. Too bad I can't remember his name though. Benny told me to upgrade security and get Yes Man to get rid of Mr. House. Being something of a yes man myself, I decided that this was a good and easy way to control Vegas. The only trouble I'd have in the vaults would be the turrets as I ran through. I got my bones and molecular structure tickled good by laser fire and upgraded the Securitrons to Mark II. I chose to let Caesar do what he wished with Benny. I had already resolved my conflicts with him long ago. My sights were now set higher than ever before. I decided to return to Yes Man. Mr. House had to die. I entered the chamber after running past all the robots, but here's where things get a little bit blurred. House has to die. But who says I'm killing him by taking him out of his container? I'm simply speeding up an already approaching process. The process of death. Taking him out of his container and shoving him back in means my actions end him. But ultimately, pathogens kill him, not me. It was time to put Yes Man in control and get to work. I had an army at my disposal, and in order to use it, I needed to further establish myself in the Strip and Vegas by meeting the many factions and families. The Brotherhood would be my first stop. I was stripped of my weapons and met with Paladin Ramos. I was then fitted with an explosive collar and scared off the NCR Ranger living in the other bunker. After that, I was free to go, and since they decided to let me go, I decided to let them off the hook. They were starving, slowly killing themselves. Their demise needed not to be sped up by my actions. Next, it was time to deal with the Khans. I had some sympathy for them, a tribe that tried to remain wild as the world around them tried to make sense of the new world. I made it and spoke with Papa Khan. When Papa chose not to listen, Reggie's opened his ears. I then ousted Carl and then was told to convince every head of the Khans to turn against Caesar's Legion. Let me tell you, getting to Melissa is bullshit. Invisible walls are the biggest bunch of bullshit, so after 2 hours of not knowing what to do, I gave up. The Khans will remain allies to Caesar, and my army of Securitrons would cut them down all the same. So I switched gears and headed to Gamora. I spoke with the receptionist and was told to find Kachino. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. He was an ass, so I swiped his journal and swindled 300 caps off him and learned that the bosses were planning something huge. A small army. I now had to get rid of them. I decided to deal with Troik first. I tried to get him out of his contract and he told me to go to Big Sal. I convinced him that he was strung out and I was able to get him out of his contract. I then took the thermite from him to try and negate how many players were in this operation. I placed him to flip the switch, the guns melting and going up in flames. I then returned to Kachino and it was time to meet the bosses. I even convinced Kachino to kill them for me. Big Sal went to the big skybox in, well, you know, the sky. And Nero took a bit longer to kill, but with the help of the Omerta thugs, he finally went down. With them gone, I went to my final location, the Ultralux with the White Glove Society. I spoke with Majori, starting Beyond the Beef. She told me to go to Mortimer, and I told him I understood the cause, and that I could help him. I decided to work with figuring out how to resolve this peacefully. I then pressed quick load without saving, and I threw that idea out the fucking window. Ted Gunderson can kill everyone for all I care. In this timeline, Kachino died. I spoke with Ted and restarted the quest, doing everything I did before. And also, oh yeah, turning on Mortimer, even without his knowledge, makes everyone in here want you dead. I then went back to my previous save as Heck Gunderson got beaten to death. And this time, no NPC wanted to kill us. So maybe a bug, maybe I did something. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. You always do. The father and son then had their happy reunion, and I let them do whatever the hell they wanted. It was then time to return to Yes Man. President Kimball was on his way to Hoover Dam. I took some time before this quest and got as much medical supplies as I could get. I went with Doc Mitchell, Chet, Gunrunners, anywhere I could go, even the New Vegas Medical Clinic. I then bugged the El Dorado substation and, oh, god damn it, Kimball died. Oh well, nothing I could do there. As night rolled into Vegas, I returned to Yes Man for one last time. We had two ways we could win. It gave us some options to play around with. I was to power the underground generators and get our army up and running. When I arrived, the battle had already kicked off in full swing. I decided to, mostly let the soldiers and my Securitron do the killing. It didn't count as me killing anyone, so it was fine. With my Securitron dead, it was finally up to me to survive on my own. No guns, no weapons, just my wits. I lied directly to the NCR heavy trooper that Mommy Moore was in danger, and they ran to protect her. Yes Man took control of the dam, and the power output activated the army below. We were in business. And business is booming. With my army in tow, I got a first row seat with the legate. I chose to fight with my words. He wanted my surrender, and I wanted his. This wasn't a negotiation. This was a request. I used his words against him, his conviction swaying. I used the weakness of the NCR to sway him as well. And he realized that they could not hold both the East and the West. This would not be the last time we saw him. He wanted us to be free and our strength tested, allowing the strong to live and the weak to die. He saw the strength in my resolve, and it was time for him to leave. I then had to deal with General Lee Oliver. He needed to know that Vegas was not to be controlled. There are no gods and no masters. Just a man who fights with his words and his robot army. Oliver would leave on his feet or wrapped in a flag. I told him to leave my land, and he took a step back before giving me some self-chosen words about making a nation. The state of the Mojave would be born. Whether it would last would be up to me. As I was told, if the situation was reversed, I'd be hanged. I gave Yes Man an order. His first kill would be General Lee Oliver. General Lee was then thrown off the Hoover Dam. Vegas was free, and I beat Fallout New Vegas without killing anyone.
Goodsprings cheated death once again, and the Mojave wasteland was forever changed.
Just popping in at the end here to say, thanks for watching. Check out a few of the other videos I have posted on here, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more. 2,000 subs is a huge milestone, and I'm really thankful that y'all are all here. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.